Uh, Very good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you, everybody, to have your time and energy and listen to all of us. As the topic says, mystery of spirituality. So when we see the existence, we have three things: the creator, the creation, and the creature. And in these three dimensions, we have certain aspects which are hidden to us. Like if we want to know about our real self, about people say that we are spiritual being, or we are materialistic being, or we are mix of both of that. So our materialistic dimension, it has got five senses, and all the five senses are outward. So all we see is the outside objects, but at the same time, the spirituality talks about that we are spiritual beings. And for many of us, it's a mystery that which kind of spiritual being we are, and what do we really mean by that? What is our real self? From where we came? Who is the creator of this universe? If our earth is such a small, tiny ball, and it is revolving around the sun, what is the mystery behind that? So over all these ancient texts of yoga, Samkhya philosophy, we have 6 darshanas. All of these ancient texts are answering some aspect of our creation. So in that context, today's topic is that if we have certain intangible aspect to the creation, then are there some symbols which are being used to make this aspect as tangible? Can we comprehend these aspects through some symbols? So in that domain, I would ask certain questions to my guests here. And so my first question is to Dr. Ananda. So out of your experience of spirituality, your understanding, your profound experiences, what is your perspective about symbols which are associated with spiritual essence? Which are your profound spiritual essence, and how do you relate with the symbols?
Well, first of all, thank you, Manjari, and the whole PILF team for having me back here. It's a pleasure being with you. You know, our consciousness is just the tip of the iceberg. The unconscious, subconscious, pre-conscious is the major chunk of the iceberg. How does that unconscious, pre-conscious, subconscious communicate with us? Through symbols. So symbol is a methodology through which we can understand something that is intangible. So as Deekay was saying, you know, the senses are only looking at what is tangible. I count the number of people in this room who I can see. There are many who I cannot see, but I don't count because my senses do not perceive them. You hear the words I say, you may not hear the words I don't say because they are intangible. How do I move from the tangible to the intangible? Or how do I understand the intangible using the tangible? That is the language of symbols. One of the greatest symbols of our Indian culture is Nataraja. Nataraja is not just an icon. Nataraja is not just a piece of 5 metals that can be sent to museums abroad. Nataraja is a symbol of the principle of transformative change that runs throughout the whole universe. Why is Nataraja the dancing Shiva? If I just sit here and do nothing, will you accept I am dancing? I need to keep on moving. My position needs to keep changing. Then you accept it as dance. Nataraja is giving us the symbology. Change is the only constant. Nataraja is reminding us everything that is created is sustained, is obscured, is hidden, is revealed and is destroyed. The 5 acts of Nataraja, that is why the number 5 is the number of change, the number of transformation. So I think our culture, the Indian culture, put it out there. They said, this is Nataraja. Contemplate the symbol of Nataraja. By contemplating it, you can start to replicate it in your consciousness, and you start to understand the principle of transformation, which is inevitable.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. My next question is to Shailaja ji. So while you are working with your students on yoga, so you are teaching yoga asanas, certain mudras, or a lot of things that you would be teaching. So you would find that sometimes the students, their attention is not anchored. So their body might be there, but their mind could be anchored somewhere else. So out of your own understanding of symbols, of spirituality, of yoga, asanas, do you find certain symbols which can make them anchor their attention directly towards their practice of maybe asana or meditation or whatever, if you want to share something on that?
Thank you for your question. Namaste, everyone. And of course, thank you to Manjari ji and the whole PILF team for this moment. I'm very happy to be sharing what knowledge I have with all of you. Yes, as a yoga teacher and practitioner for over so many years, what I've understood is the first thing is that yoga is about the mind. Yeah, so yes, the mind gets distracted, the mind keeps going away here and there. And usually in an asana practice, we anchor the mind in the body or the breath. Yeah, so that term mindfulness, that term causes a lot of angst. Some people like it, some people don't like it, but it serves the purpose, right? You all understand what I mean when I say mindfulness, right? So the mind has to be fully involved, right? So I take even asanas as symbols. Right, so asanas today have been diluted to just mean, okay, you have back pain, do asana practice. You have tight hamstrings, do asana practice. But to me, they are all symbols of connecting to the infinite. Yeah, so when you say, if you do a back bend, right, your shoulders open, chest open, initially it's all those instructions. But in the Yoga Sutras itself, it says, Prayatna Shaitalyam Ananta Samapadivyam. So all of this leads to that connection of the form with the formless. You begin to taste that aspect of formlessness. So each asana, whether it is a forward bend, whether it is a back bend, all of them to me are symbols of expanding our mind, of seeing life in it. Like if you see an inversion, right? We're so stuck in our views, right? It's either my way or the highway kind of thing, right? We only think what we think is right. But if we have that capacity to do inversions, right, it also teaches us that we have to have that ability to expand our perspective, see a completely opposite perspective, right? Today, if you see all the strife in the world, right, and we can all agree that there's so much strife in the world, all the strife in the world is because of our incapacity to accommodate somebody else's point of view. So to me, all of these asanas are really speaking to us. As human beings, I think we all have the poetic license, right? We're all poets, kavis, and we all have that license to bring meaning to everything that we do. So in our asana practice, if we can take that deeper context of the asana practice, whether it is to keep an open heart in a back bend and accommodate, whether it is to do inversions and develop that capacity to see a completely different point of view, right, from somebody else's perspective. All of that goes into actually for us to expand ourselves to be able to touch on that infinite. Yeah, so for me, this whole journey is that whether it is asana practice, is all for us to remind ourselves to be centered, grounded, to be able to focus on what we're doing, to be able to see beyond the senses of just the body, touching your feet or touching your toes, and to be able to taste that bliss of the infinite. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailaja ji. So my next question is to Mr. Kamal Seetha. And since he has got a lot of experience in the domain of Rudraksha, and Rudraksha itself serves as the symbol of, there is a lot of connection of Rudraksha with spirituality. So my question to you, sir, is that, so in your own experience, how do you find that Rudraksha can help a seeker or a practitioner to get connected with the spiritual essence? Many people say that even Shiva is associated with Rudraksha. So what is your perspective on that? How a seeker can get help through Rudraksha to aid in their practices?
Thank you for your question, Deekay. About 2 months back, my book, The Power of Rudraksha, was launched in 4 languages at Mumbai. Jaco publishers, whose representatives are here, they had also attended that function. The chief guest was Swami Vishweswarananda, who is a Mahamandaleshwar of Sannyas Ashram, Mumbai, and Dr. Ganpati Yadav, ex-Vice Chancellor of ICT, Mumbai. The Mahamandaleshwar said during his speech that Rudraksha is basically a symbol of Sanatana Dharma. You see, there are many symbols, because your primary question is, and the topic of today is the symbolism. There are many symbols of Hinduism, like keeping the tuft, shikha, choti, or wearing of a janev, or wearing of clothes like sir is wearing. But there are very few people who do this. Rudraksha wearing is a symbol of spirituality, devotion to God, and one important factor is that it is a very, very important herb. I will come to that in subsequent time. Basically, our ancient scriptures like Shiv Puran, Padma Puran, Devi Bhagavad, Mantra Maharanav, then Rudraksha Jabalopanishad, and few others describe in great detail about the virtues of Rudraksha. You see, I am being a technical person, I wanted to have, like many youngsters of today, that everybody wants to have some scientific basis of any kind of transformation if your body or mind is getting after wearing Rudraksha. For this, I had conducted some non-clinical trials at ICT Mumbai during the year 2005 to 2008 with a team of about 7 to 8 PhD aspiring pharmacy students, and we had given Rudraksha powder orally to the, normally non-clinical trials are conducted on mice as per protocol, and we found its usefulness in controlling diseases like hypertension, sugar, heart diseases, and many things. Now this is after giving Rudraksha in the form of powder or in the form of extract. I think your question is that if you wear Rudraksha, what happens? Actually, we have more than 8 to 10 lakh testimonials of good feel factor from the people who have worn Rudraksha. We are in in this field for the last nearly, after leaving my petrochemical career, I was heading a very large company, both in Indonesia as well in India. So we have an experience of more than nearly 30 years. And we have several testimonials from people that after wearing Rudraksha, they felt better, they felt more aligned with the Almighty, and some sort of calmness also came in their mind. Why it happens scientifically is a very difficult thing to prove because it is a matter of Shraddha and Vishwas combined with some electromagnetic properties of Rudraksha. This is shortage of time. I cannot explain the subtle energy of Rudraksha which works on the body. Many of you might have seen videos of Sadguru Jaggi Vasdevji, in which he keeps the Rudraksha mala over the water, and he says that if the water is pure, then the Rudraksha mala will rotate in clockwise, and if it is impure, it will rotate anti-clockwise. Now this, of course, this needs some more validation. But it is sure that Rudraksha has a divine power. Just to give a very simple argument, I can say, if you see Lord Shiva, who in Vedic times was known as Rudra in Yajurveda, and all with Veda's time actually Shiv name, Mahadev name was not existing. It came only in the Puranic times. So, if you see the complete ornaments what Lord Shiva is wearing, he is wearing all those things which are very wild in look, beautiful in appearance, but very fearsome. Like he is wearing tiger skin, he is wearing snakes. Even the flowers are intoxicating dhatura. He has many choices, but he is using only intoxicating dhaturas. River Ganga flows from his head, the moon is there, the Trishul is there. His every ornament has some power. So Rudraksha beads, how they can be without power? He could have chosen any type of other beads, but he has chosen Rudraksha because they have the power. We have to only understand. We have done some scientific work, but it needs much more detail. It is a very ancient bead, since several thousand years. It is being used by Hindus. Sannyasis wear it as their compulsory attire. And I think by and large, people have respect for Rudraksha in the entire country. We have visited from north to south, east to west, conducting exhibitions and seminars, and even overseas. We have yet to find some people saying that Rudraksha are useless or they don't work. Maybe about the purity, that how to identify genuine Rudraksha, and many questions may come to the people, but about the effectiveness of Rudraksha.
So in connection to the usage of external things for your spiritual advancement, so I would like to pass on that question to Dr. Ananda. Like every seeker is looking for demystifying this mystery that we have surrounding the spirituality. So most of the seekers would be looking to experience a trance, something of spiritual dimension. So our ordinary perception is limited. Ordinary perception is of body, mind, and ego mechanism. Now, my question to Dr. Ananda is that in our culture, especially in Hinduism, there are various paths, like even in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna has given us different paths of Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and out of all these paths and all, there are methods also. So what would you advise to someone who is coming into this spirituality new, and they want to, and everybody nowadays, everybody would want to accelerate this path as fast as possible, because this age, modern age is that, because it's a kind of gratification of everything so fast. So what is your perspective on different paths, and which particular path would you like to recommend to this modern age who is looking everything to get fast?
First of all, we know very well from a health angle, anything that is fast is unhealthy. Be it fast food, be it fast relationships, be it fast money. Because with speed comes greater risk. Nature is always going at its own pace. The moment you accelerate the fruition of an apple, you poison it. The moment you try to make a baby grow into an adult faster, you are dehumanizing that child. And this is why spiritual paths must take their own course, whether we like it or not. And this is why spirituality is not escapism. Spirituality is the practical application of universal oneness. So to be spiritual doesn't mean you have to dress in a certain way, talk in a certain way. To be spiritual is to be connected to the universe in which we live. How can we connect to that universe? By being the best version of who we can be at each moment of our life. At this moment, to be able to ask ourselves the question, am I being the best version of myself? If yes, give yourself a pat on the back with Manduka Mudra. If not, do some swadhyaya, introspective self-reflection. Find out your SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, or challenges. See what are your strengths, push them forward. See what are your weaknesses, try to attenuate them or get help from others. The strength of relationship is often missed in spirituality. People think spirituality means to be alone. Spirituality means to be all one, not alone, not lonely. And we need to realize, as said in the Guru Stotra, Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. The Atma that is in me is in everybody, everything. The more we see oneness, the less that strife and friction that Shailaja mentioned will be there. Because the moment I perceive you as different than me, you are a threat to my existence. But the moment I perceive the oneness in you and me, we become a team. And we know that team signifies together, everyone achieves more. How do you build a team? Well, one is the process of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the key to Kali Yuga. KK and DK. Okay, so Kali Yuga, Karma Yoga is very, very useful. How does Lord Krishna define it? He says it should be two things. Nishkama, without attachment. The second, he says, Karmasu Kaushalam. Skillful action done without attachment to the fruits. What Krishna is telling us in modern management is, be process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. Today in our universities, for example, the one I work in, we are continuously told outcome-based education, outcome-based education. What is the outcome of a human life? Death. So die soon and you have the best outcome. That's not true. So we should move from outcome-based to process-based, and karma yoga is what I feel every modern human being can live, breathe, and do it now. Din, 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 do it now.
Excellent. So, in line to that question, so often we see that life is happening to each one of us. At the same time, when we are in this process, we often forget that death is also happening, surrounding us. So, in this cycle of birth and death, and everything in between, when, like Dr. Ananda says that everything is transitory, our Yoga Sutras, Samkhya philosophy, all of our darshanas mention this particular aspect of life is impermanent. Everything around us is changing. Our body is changing, our mind is changing. Then, if we take that as, let's say, if we take death as a symbol, because death is happening around us, a lot of war is happening, every day so many people are dying, still we are there getting attached with the life. Now my question is that, if death is the symbol of impermanence, if death is the symbol that everything is changing, even each one of us would not be there after 50, 60 years, maybe, or some of us, if some of us are lucky. So my question is that, if death is around us, if everybody is looking at that, then why do we human do not take any clue with that symbol and understand this impermanence of the nature of Prakriti? So what is your perspective on that, that why this, even the God has given this symbol, why this is still elusive to our senses? Why do we hold on to the life itself? That is my question to Dr. Ananda.
I had passed the mic to Shailaja and I get it back. See, karma is
another
a boomerang. Do and get done. Okay. Excellent question. I was already formulating an answer, though I thought she would be answering. You know, in the Mahabharata, there is the Yaksha Prasna. And one of the important questions is that Yudhishthira Dharma is asked, what is the greatest irony of everything? And he says, the human being sees death everywhere, but believes they will never die. You know, I had a surgery professor, one of Maharashtra's top surgery professor for my MBBS at Nagpur University. And the best teacher, he would be chain smoking all the time. Surgery professor, chain smoking all the time. I was a favorite student, so one day I got the courage to ask him, sir, you know that smoking will cause lung cancer. Why are you smoking? He said, Anand, you know only 98% of people who smoke get lung cancer, 2% don't get. I will be in that 2%. You know, he is not with us anymore because he died of lung cancer. Okay? We always believe it's not going to be me. Somebody else is going to have the problem. Somebody will bear the bill. It will not be me. Our culture says, you be responsible for yourself first. Swadharma, says Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Now again, I always ask this question about death. We think death is the end, but maybe death is the beginning of a higher life. The caterpillar thinks it is dying and it becomes the butterfly. What was death to the caterpillar is birth to the butterfly. So until and unless, like Nachiketa, we get a chance to interview Yama Dharma Raja, we will not know the answer to that. Thank you.
So if you take death as milestone, so let's say when we are talking about spirituality, So we are saying that as a spiritual being, we are on a journey. And like every day we sleep, we get into a dream. Now, when we wake up, we have lived a dream. And when we wake up, we get back to the reality of who we are. And we say, oh, that lion was there in the dream. It was not real, though I was frightened. But probably that lion was there to wake me up. If we say the lion was there to wake me up, now my question to Shailaja ji is that if the lion was there to wake you up from the dream, then do we have any kind of lion in our personal life, each one of us, that can make us see that even this life is a dream? Even this life is, as a soul is dreaming, and this life is a dream, and this is going to end with the death. But the milestone will continue. You're going to see the dream again and again and again. And that's what our Shastra says, samsara. We all soul are in the samsara of a cycle of birth and death. Then what about having a symbol in this life that can wake us like a lion ferociously? Then wake up, this is the dream, you are a soul on a journey. What is your take on that?
I think the symbols are everywhere. We only have to have the eyes to see, right? When you start even with your breath, right? The inhalation begins, the inhalation ends. The exhalation begins, the exhalation ends. There is death there. If you look around the trees, the leaves are falling, new leaves are coming. There is death all around us. It is not just a physical death of a body, right? If you look at life experiences, right? Even as a mother and a child, right? There is a certain stage of life when the child is 100% dependent on us. But that stage dies. And you ask a teenager whether they want to spend, I spend some of my heartiest laughter is watching this Instagram where the father or mother will write copious notes to the child about how much they love the child. And then the reply will come back, okay. So there is death all around us. The point is we have to wake up to what is all around us. A lot of us live unconscious lives, right? We are sleeping through lives. All we care about is the next job, the next raise, the next holiday. I'm amazed when I watch people spend so much time trying to figure out which restaurant to go to. No, it's not something to laugh about. It happens, right? I'm sure you all will agree with me. So if the next restaurant can take up so much of time, can you imagine going on a holiday? Right? So we spend all our time in all of these very superficial activities. Right? Who really contemplates on life, on the falling of the leaves, on the end of the breath? Our bodies, right? This again is scientific, right? Every, I don't know how many days or months, everything changes. So the thing is, we have to live more consciously. And to me, that is the greatness of yoga practice. It wakes us up from our sleep. Yeah, we are all in a slumber. But when people come to my yoga class, when I say right leg, left leg will go up. When I say left hand, right hand will go up. Because we are so disconnected from life and we are disconnected from ourselves. It's not that we are not intelligent. They're all doctors, lawyers, engineers, all extremely highly intelligent people. But we are disconnected. And this spirituality, as Dr. Ananda was saying earlier, asana practice to me is the easiest way to build connection. First with ourselves and from there with everyone and everything else in the universe. So to me, the symbols are all there. We have to wake up, and asana practice to me is the beginning, because even the breath, right? The breath is again more intangible. The body is so tangible, right? We can touch the body, feel it, feel pain, right? We can see it. So that is the easiest way to work with. They say you work from the gross to the subtle. The body is gross, the body is tangible, and that to me is the easiest thing to wake. And once we wake up, then we see the universe all around us, the talking of the universe, the teaching of the universe. But we have to wake up for that first. All right? Thank you.
Excellent. We have time or for question answer, or like we have more time? Okay. So can we say that the nature, the Prakriti around us is full of lot of symbols? So when we see river flowing, when we see cloud passing by, and we always see that cloud always pass by, but the sky remains, isn't it? And the sky is never affected by these passing by clouds. So as human beings, have we forgotten to observe the nature closely? Because all the gurus, they always say, if you want to learn spirituality, if you want to demystify, then spend some time in nature. Look at what nature is doing, what a tree is producing. Season changes, trees produce leaves, then season changes, the leaves are no more. Again, new leaves comes, and this cycle goes on and on. So if we look at the nature is giving a lot of clues about our reality, of who we are as a transient being, and we are just a part of this plan of nature. So this kind of observation gives us lots of questions to reflect upon. And one such question is that if nature is giving so many kind of things to us, then where we failed as a human being, still a lot of us are struggling to find this aspect, this connection with the spirituality, this connection with the higher dimension. And often it becomes so hard to get into the spiritual dimension. Most of the time we remain in our materialistic dimension of roti, kapda and makan, and we always struggle to find our higher purpose. So my question to each one of my guests, all the three guests, is that, so where is that? Because our spirituality or ancient text, it has come from thousands of years. If you look at Yoga Sutra, Samkhya, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Lord Shiva, each one of our devas and devis, they represent some aspect of spirituality. Then why we are still, a lot of us are still struggling to find our spiritual essence of who we are? So my question is to all of you, one by one, is that, and the answer has to be very short because we're running out of time. Then we'll start with Kamal sir. And so where is that, as a human, where is the struggle? Why we are not still able to get that, which has been said thousands of years back in Yoga Sutras, in Samkhya? Where is the struggle, sir?
I think your question is very difficult to answer in a few words. You see, human beings are surrounded by various type of situations. They have to do their own karmas for their sustenance and to run their family. And during that course of time, they cannot really do that type of spiritual practices. For example, as Sir had just mentioned about doing yoga or self-introspection, self-judgment. Actually, self-purification, purification of mind and purification of body can be done by things like meditation. Now, meditation is one thing which can purify the mind, and everybody can do it, whether they are doing normal type of work or very high level of work at higher level, meditation for few minutes every day.
Sir, I will interrupt you.
Yeah.
You have to answer in one line. So
Okay.
that is the challenge.
I think everybody should devote some time by purifying the mind, focusing. In this, Rudraksha can help by proper recitation of any mantra, any mantra chosen by you or given by Guru, and by focusing on the mantra, doing the jap for fixed number of times every day, can purify the mind and bring the peace. I have seen many, many critical people finding solutions through meditation, even if they do it for, say, maximum 10 minutes a day. So this is my take, that one should devote at least 10 minutes on meditation every day.
Thank you. Over to Dr. Ananda.
Patanjali has clearly said the whole problem is because of ignorance of reality. Tasya hetur avidya. Now he has given a problem statement, he has given a solution methodology where he says for getting rid of what is called the kleshas, I'm going to talk about it in another 10 minutes out in my workshop on stress. Kleshas, of which avidya is the field, to get rid of them, he has given us a three-pronged sadhana. And that is tapa, swadhyaya, ishvara pranidhana. How do I look at tapa for a common person? Be disciplined. Keep to your word. Do what you say you are going to do. That is tapa. What is swadhyaya? Constantly ask yourself whether you are really living the life you are meant to live. And the third, Ishvara Pranidhana, acceptance, because without acceptance, change cannot manifest. Thank you.
So, just I will introduce one more question to you, because that is very important to understand, like Dr. Ananda said, that Kriya Yoga, Tapas, Swadhyay and Ishwar Pranidhana. So, when Patanjali says that this Kriya Yoga is meant for Madhyama Adhikari, that is the intermediate students. So often, even when I also take these Yoga Sutras, so there is a dilemma that is there in front of students. How do they know that whether they are at a basic level, Adhama, or Madhyama, or Uttama, the advanced level? And because this Kriya Yoga works for the Madhyamas, the intermediate level. So is there any kind of advice that you would have to, how would a student would judge that it is now time to, apart from Ashtanga, then also do the Kriya Yoga?
Well, I believe there's no dichotomy between Ashtanga and Kriya. And I believe that all of us are beginners, all of us are students for life. Hence, I believe and I teach that every one of us can learn to be disciplined. Every one of us can have introspection. Every one of us can develop acceptance. And so I believe that everyone can start with it. But never forget, Patanjali puts Yama Niyama as the firm foundation to be an Adhikara. Adhikara Yoga is Yama Niyama. Without that, it is often physical, mental, emotional, and breath gymnastics.
Okay.
Thank you.
So over to Shailaja.
So I think Dr. Ananda said everything that I wanted to say.
So
because
we
in
need
the
to,
Yoga Sutras, they give the Ashtanga Yoga. So I'm going to make
just in one line, because we're running short of time.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a pick. The recent book that I've written, Breathe When Be, is actually Ashtanga Yoga. Yamas, Niyamas, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And all of these angas come together to create that state of viveka, like that discernment, which, according to Maharishi Patanjali, is what can cut through the haze of ignorance. Yeah, so gaining viveka should be our goal, and the Ashtanga Yoga is the path towards that.
Okay, so now we will ask questions from the audience. So you know the topic, and out of conversation, if you have any question, then have your questions ready and you can start asking one by one.
Hi, Kamal sir, the question is for you. you told us that you did some clinical trial with Rudraksha powder. Now, what is stopping us from repeating the same experiment in a, in a double-blind or a controlled manner, or by, wearing Rudraksha rather than consuming it orally? And I'm asking this from a very respectful place. Have deep respect for Rudraksha, but this is a conflict that I had in my mind. Why can't we repeat the experiment of wearing, a person wearing the Rudraksha and seeing the benefits?
Excellent question. In fact, in various forums, I have invited people from across the section of the society, businessmen, people who are in pharmacy, to consider conducting clinical trials and introduce Rudraksha as a medicine. Unfortunately, my family is very small and we are unable to enter into the pharmaceutical line. But this is a open request to the people who are interested in launching Rudraksha as a medicine. Now, Rudraksha is one herb, probably the only herb in the world which has gold in its constituents. It has gold, it has silver, it has barium, it has magnesium, all important minerals it has got. There is no herb other than Rudraksha in the world which contains gold. We have tested it in 3 different laboratories, including government lab. If anybody is interested, we'll extend full help. We are in discussion with a few parties to take this as a project, and we can help in getting the material also. In various exhibitions, we have been displaying the same question which you are, that we want to launch Rudraksha as a medicine. Actually, there are many Ayurvedic granthas like Bhav Prakash, Manoshadhi Vigyan, and so on and so forth, which mention the usage of Rudraksha as a medicine, Rudraksha powder as a medicine. Unfortunately, because some people have lost faith in the genuinity of Rudraksha. Now that part can be taken care of now. If anyone is interested, whatever information, basic information we have, we are ready to share. It is a very good question. It is in our mind also.
Thank you very much, everybody here.